Okay.
Recording. That's recording now. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Doesn't give you a heads up. It just disappears. A little bit rude.
All right, we've got a few peeps on. I'm sure we've got a few more making their way. Oh, I've still got a minute or so. We have Sue Helen. Hello, lovely. Hello. She's just finished her torture session with, I'll tell you right, with Teapot.
Yeah, I can't walk.
Yeah, she's come home and run straight into another session. So
I like it.
Yeah. Busy.
Oh, Team Young. Young on the house. So good. We've still got a minute less than a minute to go. And Jess is there, and she's changed her name from Andy. That is awesome. It was awesome. Jess had her first boot camp back tonight with her knee challenge, so that was awesome. Really good. I like it a lot. Righty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be very prompt and punctual tonight, and we are going to get underway. But I'm actually in the car. It's my sister-in-law's birthday, so we're on the way to a birthday dinner. But I wanted to introduce Mr. Dean Popplestone. He goes by the name of the Average Man, but he is far from average, very far from average. And he's taking over tonight, which I'm super excited about because he's done it before, and I hate saying this, but he's funny and he's wise. And I know that you guys will definitely learn a lot from him, and the way he delivers it is it's awesome. And a lot of the stuff that gets talked about when we talk about personal development and things like that is a lot of it's generally the same message. But the cool thing is it's the way that it's delivered. And Dino's got some really beautiful points of view and takes on things, and delivers in a way that I know that you guys you'll enjoy it, and you'll learn a lot. So please take notes. Make sure at the end, if you have any questions for Dino, that you ask. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dean Popplestone.
All right, sounds like I'm going into a fight. That's good. Thanks, Shez. And hello, Matt, in the background too. Tonight I'm going to start off with Sir Edmund Hillary, the first guy that climbed Mount Everest, and a good Kiwi bloke, of course. Said it like this. He said, "It's not the mountain that we need to conquer, it's ourselves." And in that little statement is a massive amount of information, because for us, we often look at outside circumstances to solve our problem, to get to where we want to go. But what we miss is what's going on inside. And the real answer is actually inside. Every single time. The outside circumstances is often just a product. So in that little statement, it's not the mountain that we need to conquer, it's ourselves, because the belief needs to be there before we start climbing. We have been given a unique, I guess, ability, gift above all other living creatures, and that's the ability to choose. Now, what I mean by that is, I don't just mean whether a cow chooses to eat the patch of grass over in the right corner or the left corner. I mean, we have the ability to choose where our life goes, in the direction that it takes. As animals operate on instinct. So a goose comes to winter, he'll fly south with all his goose mates. That's what he does, because he's a goose. So he goes south. A wildebeest will cross the plains and then battle it out in crocodile-infested waters. As dumb as it seems, he does it because he's a wildebeest, and all his wildebeest mates do exactly the same thing. We have the ability to choose something else. So when our goose mate is flying south with all the other goose mates, we can go north. We have the ability to choose that. We have the option to choose that. When our wildebeest mates are taking on the crocodiles, we can go, "Mate, you're nuts. We're going elsewhere because I think there's a better path." So what I'm trying to say is, when everybody else is going right, we have the option of going left. This is the ability to choose. It's so we can actually have direction in our life, so we actually have control where our life goes. And believe it or not, when we this is why I want to talk about the power of choice tonight. And that's why I call it the power of choice, because when we initiate that ability to choose, there's a lot of power to it, because we can dictate how our life turns out. We can dictate where we live, what our wage is, what we drive, who we hang out with the power of choice. And often we don't. Often we relinquish that power over to somebody else or something else. And we take that away and we wonder, what the hell's gone wrong? This is not where I'm meant to be. Now, kids are really good at choosing. Like a lot of our mental hang-ups that we have as adults, we were really good at them when we were kids. So you get a kid to choose, he'll tell you exactly what icy pole he wants. He'll tell you exactly what his favorite food is, his favorite color, his favorite number, his favorite TV show. And they're even willing to take on the wrong decisions as well. So mum and dad will say, don't eat dirt. And he's thinking to himself, I want to eat dirt. I need to know what dirt tastes like, so I'm going to eat dirt. There's a good chance you only eat dirt once and find out, you know what? Dirt's no good. I'm not going to eat it. But kids are really good at making choices, and they're really good at having a crack at them. Whether they're right or wrong, they will give them a go. As life goes on and we get dealt a few emotional blows, we get dealt, you know, the pains of life, the embarrassing moments, the failures, the misfortunes that come along, and they hurt. You know, they really do hurt. They do us a bit of damage, I guess, to our hearts and to our emotional state. And the interesting thing is I've shared this before about the brain, is one of the jobs that the brain is tasked with is keeping us away from harm. That's what it's there. It's there to keep us safe. It's there to protect us. But the brain does not, when it stores this information, it does not differentiate between right and wrong. It just stores it as an event. That's what it does. So it doesn't give a rat's whether it's right or wrong. The brain just goes, right, that's a significant event. I'm going to store it up here. And it's the same when it comes to pain. Our brain doesn't store it as that's a physical pain, so I know what to do with that. That's an emotional pain, that's a mental pain. What it does is it stores it as pain. So it goes, okay, that goes in the pain basket, so I know when that comes up, I've got to do something about it. So and it brings in systems like our fears come into that. Our fears help keep us safe. So when we're near a cliff face, we have that little bit of fear or falling because we don't want to fall. So what it does is it finds out ways that it can actually, and tactics, ways that it can avoid this pain. So it's initiating. It might say, I don't want to go near that person anymore because every time I'm near them, they make me feel like crap and it hurts. All right, I don't want to be with that group of people. I don't want to be in that circumstance, so I will take you away from that, and so on and so on. As we grow older and we experience more unfortunate moments, it initiates more systems and more tactics to deal with it. So then we go into, it finds an ultimate solution, okay? And what we unwittingly do for that ultimate solution to avoid pain or to lessen the pain is we hand over our power of choice, which we were so good as kids, to somebody else to do the choosing for us. Now, the reason I say that, and bear with me on this one, is when we hand it over, we void responsibility in our mind. This is what we're thinking. We're avoiding responsibility because it's no longer our fault. So when it does go wrong, yes, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much because we didn't initiate it, and it's not our fault that we're here. So all of a sudden, we're justifying it. As nuts as it seems, we're justifying it that it's not as bad because we didn't initiate it. So we've now gone from being a good decision maker as a kid. Well, so we got to have no problem at making decisions as kids, to all of a sudden now we're avoiding making decisions as grown-ups. So it's an interesting concept because all of a sudden we've handed all our power for our direction, our purpose, our life's meaning over to somebody else or something else. And it's crazy, Les Brown's, who's a motivational speaker. I really like him. I listen to him a lot. He's a pastor. It was actually his mum came up with this one. So good old mum. And I heard it the other day and loved it. And she put it like this. She said, most of us will not participate in our own rescue. So most of us will not participate in our own rescue. We will sit there and wait for something to happen. And we'll wait. It's like, say if we came to dinner and we sat down, mum puts an empty plate in front of us and says, all right. And you're going, what's going on, mum? We're waiting for tea. What's for tea? I don't know. Who's bringing tea? I don't know. You'd be thinking, mate, the old lady's gone nuts. She is a crazy old lady. What the hell? We're sitting there with an empty plate waiting to see what's happening for tea. Where's tea, mate? And the funny thing is, most of us live our life this way. We wander around with an empty plate going, what are we going to get? What's for tea? What's for tea? And then the crazy thing is, if something happens to fall in our plate, we go, oh, I don't like that. We've done nothing to get it, but I don't like it. We ever had that conversation where you say, you know what, let's go out for tea. And they go, all right. And the other person will say, yep, that's excellent. I don't mind where we go. You choose. You go, all right, let's go Chinese. No, I don't like Chinese. Okay, let's go Italian. No, I don't like Italian. Okay, what about Indian? No, I don't feel like Indian either. You're just going far out, mate. You said you don't care. Now, we're wandering around with our plate of our life going, oh, I don't really care because I don't want to put any effort into it. But when it drops in, you go, no, this is no good. What else have you got? This is the crazy thing about it. So when we hand over our power to somebody else, we void our choices. We void what we get. So, and we might be handing over to somebody who knows us very, very well. But that's irrelevant because their perspective of the world is totally different to ours. When we make decisions, it's based on our values. It's based on what we value in life. So every decision, whether you know your values or not, and I'll go through that at the end, I found a real simple exercise to work out what your values are. And I'll go through that at the end. But for now, we'll just refer them as values. We base every decision on our values, and it's irrelevant whether we know them or not. So when we make our decisions, that's where they come from. So the important thing is we'll get to know our values so we can make educated, deliberate decisions. All right, let's go back to the perspective. So we've handed over our power over to somebody else. All right, they might know us really, really, really well. Okay, and they might say, yeah, we're pretty close. We're like twinsies. We think the same, but it might only be that much. It might be different. So we start like this, and we go like this, and we go like this, and we go like this, and by the time life gets on, you go, oh, bloody hell, I'm over here. I want to be over here. How does that work? Because that little bit over amount of time gets further and further apart because their perspective was different to yours. They're not basing their decisions for you on your values. They're basing it on theirs and on their perspective. Now, allow me to share this story. About 12 years ago, I decided I need to get in shape. When I'm running, there was far too many wobbly bits, so I thought, mate, I've got to get going. All right, so boy was just learning to ride his bike, so he was pretty keen on his little treadly. I put Hannah in the pram, so we got to the main street of Cranbourne, and the main street is a bit of a downhill run. So we get to the main street, and I said to the boy, remember, push back on your pedals. That's where your brakes are. You'll be sweet. And he's getting fast. So I'm going, dude, keep your feet on the pedals so you can push back on your pedals. And he's getting a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And I'm thinking, holy crap, his son actually pick up a bit of speed. So I'm getting a little bit faster. Still not built for running, but I'm getting faster. And next thing I know, he is hooking it. And this little dude is flying on this bike. And I am actually getting the turbos out on the pram. And I see Hannah's sitting bolt upright. And she's got the white knuckles. She's on the little bar and she's got the white knuckles happening because we've got smoke coming off this thing. And I'm trying to catch the boy and I'm thinking, if I can just get him, I can grab his shirt. And he's screaming out, Dad, Dad! And he's packing his little axe. So he's hooking, I'm hooking, the girl's white knuckled. and an old lady steps out from the shop, and both of us just about cleaned her up. We only just missed her. And just as I got to the boy, I went to grab his shirt. He got the wobbles on. He's eating concrete. He's done. And he's getting up and going, I'm not riding my bike ever again, never, ever again. And so that was it. And all I hear in the background from the pram was, oh, can we do that again? So that was my perspective of the one event. The boy's perspective, he comes around, he's thinking, mate, this hill's pretty big, but all right, I'll give it a go. I'm going a little bit fast. I'm going, holy crap, I'm going fast. Dad, you need to be here. Dad. Bang, he hits the concrete. That's his perspective. That's a terrible experience. I hate the hill. That's his perspective of the same event. So that's two different perspectives of one event that took place. The third event is we got Hannah in the pram. So it's my perspective of her was she was actually packing herself, and I was the opposite. She's probably thinking as we're getting around going, oh, big bro's taking off. He wants to drag. It's on. Dad, big bro's taking off. We need to catch him. And, oh, we're on. So what I thought was white knuckles of excitement for her. She's just going, yeah, we're catching the boy. We're going to get him, and we're going to win this. And then she probably doesn't even notice that the boy hits the deck. The only thing she knows is we come to the stop and she's just going, that was awesome. Let's do it again. So that was her perspective. Three totally different perspectives of the one event. Number 4, we've got a little old lady stepping out of the shop. Now she's stepping out of the shop and this young hooligan on a bike just about cleans her up. And even worse, his irresponsible dad with a baby in a pram just comes flying past and just about cleans her up too. Oh, the young folks of today, they have no respect. So that's 4 different perspectives of the one event. Are they all true? Yeah, they are. They're true to that individual because that's the way that they see the world. 4 different perspectives of the one event that took place. And they're all true to that person. So when we hand our power over to somebody else to make our life choices for us, they're making it on their perspective of the events that come along. They're basing it on their values that come along. Now, I lived my life like this for a long time, too long. And I was known as an easygoing kid, an easygoing teenager. Mate, that's Dean. He won't mind. He'll just go with the flow. It's easy, mate. So that's how I was known. And that was probably a fairly reasonable perspective to have when people saw me. But what they didn't see was my easygoingness was an unwillingness to make a decision. It was an unwillingness to commit. It was the fear of failure. So I handed over my power of choice to somebody else to decide. You know, we like to say, that's just life. That's just life. You know, that's just life means you've given up and you've handed your power over to somebody else. No, it's not just life. So the result for me was, it was easy. And as Les Brown would say, if we do what is easy, life becomes hard. And you know what? It was easy for me at the start. And then life did become hard. At 5'7", I weighed in at 104 kgs. Yeah, that's right, Sharon. That's the correct face. So to put it bluntly, sorry, Lily, I was a fat bastard. I was a chunky monkey out of control. So you know what? That was me at 5'7". No burgers for you, fatty. That's what it was like. It wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it, but I was still chuffing litres and litres of Coke on a daily basis because it was easy. This is what happens when we hand over our power to somebody else. When we do what is easy, life becomes hard. Now, the second part of that is if we do what is hard, life becomes easy. Now, the beauty of this is why we call it the power of choice, because it does have the power to change. It does have the power for us to be able to control where we want to go. Now, I don't want to go back to the fat bastard. No way. Because I like where I'm at. Once you engage the power of choice, it has the power to make a difference. Now, this is a great thing about it, because I know everybody that's on here tonight is keen to have change. That's why they're doing the transformation challenge. They want to change. They're up for the challenge. What a great place to start. You know, we're now making choices that are uncomfortable. We are now making choices that are a challenge. You know, with what's going in our gob, what we're eating, the calories that we're eating, and also the choices where we'd rather at the end of the day be sitting on the couch relaxing. Instead, we're thinking now we need to actually get our asses off the couch and go for that run, that ride, that swim, that walk, whatever, because we have a goal to get to and we're prepared to make those choices. So this is where the challenge is so good, because now it gives us an opportunity to practice our ability to choose. So this is what we mean by it. The ability to choose gives us power and direction and gives us a good outcome. When we start taking control, it's no longer somebody else taking control of our lives. When we start taking control, what happens is we become uniquely individual. So when we're uniquely individual, we start to find fulfillment because we're meeting our values, meeting what makes us us, what makes us uniquely who we are. And it takes a conscious effort to actually do that. It takes deliberate decisions to actually do that. This is why it's so important to get to know your values, to get to know your perspective of the world, so you know the decisions you want to make. They're not all going to be right. Some of them are going to be wrong. Some of them are going to be massively wrong. But we still need to stick to it. We still need to keep going with it. Uniquely individuals are the ones that change the world. Uniquely individuals are the ones that influence the world. Now, when you describe Nelson Mandela, you wouldn't compare him to anybody else. You wouldn't say he's a little bit like this guy and this guy put together. He's Nelson Mandela. When you describe Michael Jordan, you wouldn't describe him as he's like one of the other players in one of the other teams. No, he's not. He's uniquely Michael Jordan. Bring it closer to home. Gary Ablett's another one, Gary Ablett Jr. Now, his dad was an outstanding footballer, and so is his son. But they were nothing alike. Gary Ablett Jr. was uniquely individual. Bring it even closer to home. Our very own Matt and Sheridan. You know, they've been practicing the power of choice for a long, long time. And their unique individuality shines through. Now, with this, there, look at you go. And you go, I'll bring it closer to home. My favourite of all, I'm going to pop your bubble a little bit, is T-Pop. You know, the amount of, not only for our family, how much she has altered and changed our family, but the amount of women that she has influenced and inspired through FBFM, through her work. And now we bring on Ash to join the club as well, which is even better. And as a side note, I want to make a massive shout out to the mums and the wives. You know what? You need to know this and you need to hear it. You are the main influences in your family. All right? I know man's the king of the castle and all that, but you are the main influences. You are the character and the thread of your families. So don't give up. Keep making those choices, because the only reason I had the courage to actually become a person who embraces the power of choice was because of my beautiful wife, who actually stood up and said, you know what? I'm doing something about it. And she made that choice. And out of that, she has influenced our whole family and changed the whole direction and course that our family was going. And it's given me the courage now to actually start pursuing my dreams as well. So don't underestimate who you are. So a massive shout out to your mums and the wives and the partners, because you are the thread of influence in your families. And you need to know that, because it's so important for you to know, because I don't think it gets said enough. All right, so side note, sorry, a little bit distracted. Influencing. So when we actually engage our power of choice, not only do we change our direction of life, so there was a connection here, we influence those around us because they can see a change. We influence those around us. Every time we invest or we grow more, we influence those around us. So Jim Ryan said, we are all self-made. It's only the successful that will admit it. So no matter where we've ended up, we did it. So why not start making something good? And it's never too late to start. So the power of choice. On purpose, it was called the power of choice because it does have the power to change the way that we live. When we relinquish that power, we void that opportunity to live the ultimate life that we're destined to do, that we're meant to live. We're not meant to live mediocre lives. We're meant to live lives of champions. We're meant to live lives that we influence others. We're meant to live lives that, to be fit, healthy, and strong, not only in the body, but in the mind. We're meant to get out and enjoy what we do. So this is what it means when we have the power of choice. So it's a great step being in the transformation challenge because we have to initiate it. We have to do it because we now set a short-term goal of what we want at the end of it. So I think it's a fantastic place to start. Be encouraged. Keep going further with it. Once it stops, keep initiating the deliberate decisions into other areas of our lives so we can get more and more out of our lives. And the long-term benefits, you'll love it. It's well worth it. Well worth it. Now, I did say at the end of it, I'll talk a quick talk about our values. Okay, our values are the base of how we live, how we see the world, is how we form our perspective. Okay, so for example, my values are respect, honesty, service, fun, and health. So they're my top 5. The list goes a little bit longer, a bit greedy, so I've got a few, but they're my top 5. All right, so everything that I do, I try and base off those 5. Now, a lot of us, including me, up until a little while ago, had no clue what my values were. So a good, easy way of doing it, write down 10 to 20 things that you love, people you love, things that you love to do, things that you love to have, 10 to 20 of them, okay, that you love. Not that your partner loves, not that your mate loves, not that you think that you should write down on there, things that you actually want on that list. Then go through your list, put them in groups. So you might say, I love money, all right? And there you might like a nice car or a nice house, group them together, and that could, you look at that and go, oh, that could fall under the banner of wealth. It could fall under the banner of successful. So there's 2 values straight away. I love my family. I love hanging out with my family. You think, why do I love hanging out with my family? Because I love the way they make me feel. Okay, so family could be one of your values. Love could be another one. Loyalty could be another one out of that one too. So just have a bit of a play with it. See if you can work out what actually fits. And when you actually come up with your values, you actually look at it and go, you know what, I think that's right. I think it feels right. If you want further help with it though, feel free to message me, call me, whatever. I'm happy to chat about it all day long and go through it with you as well. So more than happy to do that. So I'm open after that, but give it a go. Have a crack at it. It's a good little exercise because when we actually start to actually know what our values are, we can even be more deliberate in our decisions that we make. Because I was just discussing it today, and so if one of our values was loyalty, okay, if one of our values was loyalty, somebody offered us extra money to go elsewhere. Now, if you didn't know that, you'd be going, oh, good, it's good to have extra cash, but it wouldn't be feeling right, but you might do it anyway. But if you know your value is loyalty, then you can actually make an educated choice to say, no, I don't want to move because that goes against what I actually value. That goes against what I actually believe. So I want to actually stay put, even though the money will be good, but money is actually well down my list. Wealth is well down my list. Loyalty is higher. So feel free to message me if you like. Happy to talk about it. Hope you enjoy tonight. Happy to take any questions as well. If anybody's got any questions. Sorry, people, I think I just broke my phone. No, we're back. All right. I've got a feeling that. There we go. Here we go. I'm under control of you now. I think Shez and them are gone. There's no questions. That's cool. I'll let you get on with your night. As I said, feel free to message me about anything that was spoken to tonight. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm always up for a cup of tea, so happy to meet up too. So all good. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dino.
Over and out. Pleasure. Remember, power of choice, initiate it. Love it. See you, son.
That was hard.
Does he? And we're out.